Good morning students. Today we are going to solve an example of pair t-test. So till now we have already covered in the last lectures the unpaired t-test, solving of the one example of the unpaired t-test. Now we are going to solve an example of the paired t-test. So yesterday we have already learned about the working procedure of the paired t-test. Today we are going to solve it. So the example is the 10 students were given the intensive coaching in the statistic, and the score obtained in the first and fifth test are given below. So 10 students were given. So here the number of samples is 10. So you can say that degree of freedom can be calculated by means of df is equal to n minus 1. So what is n? N is 10. 10 minus 1, that is equals to 9. So here the degree of freedom will be 9 because the number of sample is 10. So from here to here we can find out there are 10 samples. So 10 students were given intensive coaching. These 10 students were given the coaching, and the score obtained in the first and fifth test are given over here. So what you are asked is that, does the score from test first to test fifth shows an improvement and the test at 5% level of significance? So what is the question asked is that, does this score from test to test fifth, मतलब फर्स्ट टेस्ट से लेकर के फिफ्थ टेस्ट तक कोई प्रकार का इम्प्रूवमेंट है कि नहीं, यही हमें चेक करना है. So first steps in the solution is we have to set the null hypothesis. So we used to say that null hypothesis मतलब no improvement has been occurred. So we can say that no improvement has been occurred. So if we say that null hypothesis is no improvement has been occurred, then the alternative hypothesis will be improvement has occurred. So after taking the coaching class, certain improvement has been taken place. So first we have to set up the null hypothesis and the alternative hypothesis. Next, the example. We have seen the example. There are 10 samples from 1 to 10, and the marks in the first test were given from 50 to 80, and the marks in the fifth test, that is 65 to 86. So here we have already entered in the table. So we have to draw a table in which the first column will be serial number, second column will be mark in the first test, third column will be mark in the fifth test. So we have to find out the D. D means deviations. So how to find out the deviation is, this is x1 and this is x2. So we have to subtract the x1 from x2. So we can write x1 minus x2. This 50 minus 65 will gives you how much? Minus 15. Similarly, 52 minus 55 will give you minus 3. Similarly, we have to subtract whole the numbers, and then we have to sum up all this. And after the summation, we will get it as minus 52. So how will get minus 52? Minus 15 plus minus 3 minus 18 plus minus 12 minus 5, and then totaling of all the positive. Again this plus this plus this. First we have to add whole the negative number and then positive. Nantar we have to subtract the negative from the positive, or from negative positive integers are subtracted. So here we get the summation of D as minus 52. So here we get the summation as minus 52. Next we have to make it a square. So what is this? This is D square. So it's very simple, you know that. First we have to find out the D, and then we have to square it. So minus 15, after squaring we know that it becomes positive 225. Minus 3 will gives you 9. Minus 12 will gives you 144. Minus 5 will gives you 25. Similarly, we have to find out the summation of d square, which is around 638. So here we can say that in order to calculate the pair t-test, t is equals to mean of deviation divided by standard deviation divided by square root of n. So here we have to do the three procedure. First one is that we have to take out the first mean of the d. Next we have to find out the standard deviation, and then we have to divide it by the square root of the n. Okay, so here we are going to first find out the d bar. So mean of the deviation can be calculated by means of summation of d divided by n. So summation of d, as we have already seen, what is the summation of d? This is the summation of d. So the summation of d is, we know that minus 5.2 minus 5.2 divided by n is the total number of the sample observation. So 10 observations are given here. So we have calculated the d. So what is d? D is nothing but the minus 5.2. Now we have to find out the standard deviation. So standard deviation is equals to whole square root of summation of d square minus summation of d the whole square divided by n whole divided by n minus 1. So we know that summation of d square, here this one, summation of d square is equals to 638. So we are going to write it inside the data, that is 638 minus summation of d square. What is summation of d square? Here we have seen summation of d square, summation of d is minus 52. So what is summation of d? Minus 52. So it is square, that's why we are going to multiply it once again. 52 divided by number of observation is 10. Whole divided by n minus 1. This is n this is n. This is n minus 1. So here it will be 10 minus 1. So this will gives you 638 minus 270.4 divided by 9. That is equals to square root of 367.6 divided by 9. That is equal to 6.391. So what will get the standard deviation? The standard deviation is equals to 6.391. So we have calculated the d, mean d, as well as we have calculated the standard deviation. Now we have to put inside the formula, and that formula, that is SD by square root of n. That is equals to, we have just now calculated the standard deviation, that is 6.391 divided by square root of 10. That is equals to 6.391 divided by 3.16, which is equals to 2.022. So we have calculated the SD by square root of n. So now we have to put inside the formula, that is t. So we have to find out the t. So t test, t is equals to mean of d divided by sd by square root of n, which is can be written as d mean divided by standard error. So what is d? D we have already calculated. So the d mean or d bar can be represented, or we have calculated, it is estimated to be minus 5.2. So now we have to put it inside the formula. T is equal to d mean divided by SE, standard error. So just now we have calculated standard, that is equals to 2.002. So minus 5.2 divided by 2.002 will gives you 2.57. So our t value, calculated value of t is 2.57. And the level of significance, normally we used to take it as 5%. So 5% is also written as 0.05. So level of significance at 0.05%, the tabulated value is considered to be, or tabulated value, t value of the table, that is said to be 2.26. So here calculated value is 2.57 and tabulated value is 2.26. So what we can find out, come to the decision is that since the calculated t is equals to 2.57, which is greater than the tabulated 2.26, we know that our calculated value is greater than 2.57 is greater than the table value, that is 2.26. So the null hypothesis is rejected. What was the null hypothesis? Null hypothesis, no improvement has been occurred. So we can say that null hypothesis rejected. That's why improvement has occurred. This is the decision. So what we can write out the decision? Since the calculated value 2.57 is greater than 2.26, so the null hypothesis is rejected and alternative hypothesis is accepted. So what is the alternative hypothesis? Is that improvement has taken place after the coaching classes in test 1st to test 5th. So this is a conclusion. For today, we are going to stop this topic today, and we know that our both the test of the t test, that is pair test as well as the unpaired test, we have completed by means of solving example. See you tomorrow with the next topic. Good day.